Life pro tip. If someone asks you a question that can be easily Googled, please consider the fact that this person might just want to talk with you.
Corollary: if you don't want to talk to them, just tell them to go Google it. And if someone posts an Ask Reddit that could easily be Googled, they might just want to get a top post. As a teacher, they don't want to talk to me. They want the answer. As an introvert, I found this method useful for starting conversations with people, especially starting a new job. I usually ask people stuff that I already know, just to start something up that hopefully goes further than just the answer. If someone else is new and asks me a question, I always turn it into a conversation in case that's what they're getting at.
Life pro tip. Learn Excel. It's one of the most underappreciated tools within the office environment and really used to its full potential.
I just got home from a Christmas party at a company I just started with, and one of the youngest accountants was introduced to me by everyone as "That's Nick." He's an absolute wizard with Excel, including both the owners of the company. Can't buy that kind of reference. For anyone who sucks at Excel and reading this thread and feeling daunted, check out Excel is Fun on YouTube. His hour-long VLOOKUP and pivot table videos are gold. You will be better than most people at the office after those. Feel free to learn VBA and macros. But honestly, I feel like if you want to learn those, you might as well learn a programming language. Don't be deterred by people in this thread telling you to learn VBA. I don't know it that well, and I consider myself to be very good at Excel. If you want to learn it, there's also Excel VBA's Fun on YT as well. Index match instead of lookup, by the way. Always thought of it as one of the best and worst tools at the same time for reporting. You get something that works and it's amazing and hugely time-saving. You get something that's complicated and breaks and you're left in the crap as it's horrible to debug. I've also seen too many cases where business-critical data and information is held in multiple Excel sheets as people become too reliant on it. Use it as an ad hoc data manipulation tool. If you have regular reporting with any sort of complexity, take a look at a proper data viz tool like Tableau.
Life pro tip. If you make a mistake, admit to the mistake, apologize, and explain what steps you'll take to prevent it from happening again in the future. It's very hard for people to yell at you if you've done that.
Taking responsibility for mistakes is one of the traits of a good employee. However, you need to keep in mind that there are situations in every career where you'll be confronted about something that you could have prevented but was not directly your responsibility. You need to be sure the issue is something you should be apologizing for, and not attributing to its source. Otherwise you will become a scapegoat. There are lots of things that a person can do to prevent those around you from making mistakes. But it is not always your responsibility to mitigate those risks. People care more about the way you recover from your mistake than they do about the mistake itself. I have learned this in life, which is why people should not be afraid to make mistakes, because all that will be remembered about your mistake is how well you recovered and what you took away from it. This said, I believe that the real mistake lies in not owning it and not taking corrective action. However, if you've made a mistake that might lead to a civil suit, don't say anything. Don't apologize either, as that might be seen as an admission of guilt. If you've made a mistake that might lead to law enforcement becoming involved, say nothing until you've spoken to your lawyer and then follow your lawyer's advice. You haven't met my dad. He will get angrier after an apology, almost like you deprived him of his right to be pissed off.
Life pro tip. Most modern microwaves have a mute function to turn off the beep. Typically it's by holding 0 for 3 seconds.
I like a single beep to alert me it's done. But ours has the most obnoxious feature of periodically beeping after it's finished, until you hit the off button or open it. WTF best LPT. I have a Whirlpool over-the-range microwave. Here are the instructions for it. To turn off all beeps, hold the digit 1 button for 3 seconds. To turn back on, hold the digit 1 button for 3 seconds. To turn off everything except end of cook beeps, repeat above steps but with the digit 2 button. This will be a lifesaver if I can get it to work. I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to nuke some food at 3 a.m. but don't want to wake everyone up with our fire alarm loud piece of shit microwave.
Life pro tip. It's cheaper to give yourself a platinum award every month than actually buying Reddit Premium.
Did Op get given platinum? Or did he give it to himself? You'd need 2 usernames. BC, you can't give yourself platinum. But why would you do either? Edit. What the? Alexa, what's Reddit Premium? Edit. Fucking really?
Life pro tip. If you have to make a presentation in front of a group of people, volunteer to be the first one up, as everyone else will be so nervous about their own presentation that they won't pay attention to yours and will more than likely forget any mistake or stupid thing that you might do.
This thread is making me nervous about giving a speech that doesn't exist and I don't have to give. I like doing this so I can get the presentation over with and just relax the rest of the class. The better choice is to go up after someone royally fucks up their presentation. I've noticed that as I have advanced in academics, suddenly people start competing to present earlier instead of later.
Life pro tip. Take photos of your parents doing things they do every day. When you get older, they will bring back memories more than any posed pic ever could.
Today is actually the 5-year anniversary of my father passing away. We have tons of pictures of him working in my grandmother's kitchen. The one thing I don't really have is the sound of him speaking. I was fortunate enough to think at the time to connect my cell phone's headphone jack to my computer's microphone port. I then called his cell phone and recorded his voicemail message, which was comical. The best part about it is when I least expect it, my cell phone's music app will play it in between songs. I do this all the time, just random pics of the way the house looks. Bedrooms, knickknacks, toys, kids just sitting, husband in garage. I know that those are the pics I like to look at from when I was younger. The background and pictures are my favorites. LPT, take videos. My dad died suddenly when I was in college and I wasn't prepared. I wish I had someone suggest this to me in my teens. I have very few casual photos of him. I do have a note from him from when I was in high school that says, "Do the dishes today. I believe in you, legacy maker." This made me feel really sad. My parents are in their 60s and are starting to appear old to me in certain ways, and it scares me.
Life pro tip. Whenever you travel abroad, bring a new soundtrack for each place you visit. Preferably one you have never heard before. In the future, every time you listen to each soundtrack again, they will bring you vivid memories of the places you have visited.
This is very true. Every time I hear Cotton Eye Joe, I am taken back to that shitty little strip club in Bucharest. My parents used to have this CD from Madness. Now me as a little kid would sleep the whole way to Austria. Winter sport. Then when we had approximately 1 hour left to drive and everything became white, they would put Madness songs on. Every year it was that same moment that made me so incredibly happy. I still do it myself when I am going to Austria. Can confirm, still an album or two that immediately take me to other times and places. Very meaningful. This is called a memory trigger.
Life pro tip. Millennials. When you're explaining how broke you are to your parents, grandparents, use an inflation calculator. Ask them what year they started working, and then tell them what you make in dollars from back then. It will help them put your situation in perspective.
My dad was kinda getting on my brother-in-law's case for saying he wanted a raise from $15 per hour at his job. Dad says, "When I was your age I was a carpenter only making $4 per hour." Did the inflation calculator in real time and it was the equivalent of $17 per hour today. That gave him some perspective. I tried that. They said get another job. Since my grandparents bought their first house, 70s, the average income has gone up 10x. However, house prices have gone up 30x. Sydney, Australia. I overheard a gentleman making a comment about how much his bagging job paid in the 60s while complaining about kids these days wanting a higher minimum wage. I did the math and the guy was making almost $15 per hour at his starter job by modern standards.